Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR K&N Pro Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's K&N Rewind, we're looking back at Saturday's Zombie Auto 150. 150 laps, 80 miles around the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. 4 caution flags in this race, 2 of those being the normal breaks that they get in the K&N Pro Series for pit stops. Not really stage breaks, not called stage breaks, but that's kind of what they are. Even though you don't get a stage winner, you don't get stage points, but they are built-in caution flags for pit stops. First incident came very early, though, as they were crossing the line to start lap 2. Major carnage on the front stretch between 4 cars, the 6 of Ruben Garcia, the 15 of Tanner Gray, the 17 of Riley Herbst, and the 98 of Natalie Decker. 3 DGR Crosley cars involved in this one. Tanner Gray would be the only one that would make it away from this one and continue in the race. Garcia, Herbst, and Decker all out, only barely completing 1 lap in this race. Lap 19, caution came out once again for a spin by the 22 of Brandon Oakley. And then we had our pit stop breaks, lap 51 and lap 101. 1 leader in this race, and that was Sam Mayer. He led flag to flag all 150 laps to take home his first checkered flag in the K&N Pro Series at age 15. Sam Mayer wins the Zombie Auto 150 in very dominating fashion. Chase Cabra came home in the 2nd position, Brandon McReynolds 3rd, Drew Dollar in 4th, and Spencer Davis rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, Derek Kraus, Colin Garrett, Mason Diaz, Rafael Lassard, and Tanner Gray soldiered on from his early accident to salvage a top 10 finish. Not the day he was looking for, I'm sure, but definitely better than the other 3 competitors that were involved in that incident. Final page 11 through 19th, Brittany Zamora came home in 11th. Haley Deegan, 16th. Just an all-around bad weekend for her. Does not seem like the K&N East Series wants to do her many favors this season. She did not have a good weekend in New Smyrna with mechanical issues. And almost the same thing here. Started from the rear after an engine change. And then had more mechanical issues late in the race. Just not a good day for Haley Deegan. And then, of course, down here, 17th, 18th, and 19th, Ruben Garcia, Riley Herbst, and Natalie Decker all getting caught up in that lap 1 incident. All right, so this is, of course, normally where we would have the winner interview. We're still working on getting Sam Mayer lined up for the interview for this, so to keep this from waiting a couple days, went ahead and put this out, and the Sam Mayer interview will go up here as soon as we have it scheduled and done, which hopefully will be here in the next 24 to 48 hours. Sooner the better. But we'll just see how quickly we can get that lined up with him. It'll probably end up being like the one, or obviously it'll end up being like the one last week for the K&N West race with Trevor Huddleston, because we couldn't get that lined up super quickly after the race, so we went ahead and put the show up, and then we had a part 2 a couple days later with the interview with Trevor. So that'll be what this will be. Look for a part 2 here, hopefully in the next couple of days, with our chat with Sam Mayer about his win yesterday in Bristol. But let's go ahead and quickly take a look at the point standings for the K&N East Series after 2 races this season. Sam Mayer now leads the points in K&N East by 3 points over Derek Kraus. Of course, Kraus not a K&N East regular. Mayer has not said he's running every race, so that was announced as a partial schedule for him for K&N East, but as good of a start to the season as they've had, if there's any way to do it, I would think GMS is looking at having him in this car for the full season, because I think there's a pretty good chance he could run for the championship this year. I don't see there being any reason why he couldn't. Well, Watkins Glen may be an issue. That's the only track I can think of off the top of my head on the K&N East schedule that at 15 years old he may not be able to do. I don't think Gateway or Iowa would be an issue, but they might. But Watkins Glen's the only one I think that might possibly actually be an issue for him age-wise. I'm not sure. But I would think if there's any way for them to do it, I would think GMS would be looking at putting him in for the full season at this point. If I were GMS, that's what I would do. Of course, I'm not GMS, but that's just my 2 cents there. Brandon McReynolds in third. So technically, I believe Colin Garrett is the highest running K&N East regular in the points, if I'm not mistaken. Because I don't think Brandon McReynolds is running the full season. We know Derek Krause is not because he's running full K&N West this year. I believe Colin Garrett is actually the highest K&N East regular in the points right now. So good start to the season for Colin Garrett. But that is your look at the points following the Zombie Auto 150, and I believe that will do it for us on this K&N Pro Series Rewind show. This should be going up Sunday morning, I believe. So I think the Cup Series preview has already premiered, I'm going to guess. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check that out. That'll get you ready for today's Food City 500. You know what? I'll go ahead and link it down below in the description. Make it easy for you to find. So, yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, go check that out. We got everything you need to know headed into today's race from Bristol. Cup Rewind coming up this evening to talk about the Food City 500, get you caught up on everything that happened in the race afterward, and then pole position as usual tomorrow evening, Monday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, to recap you on everything that happened this weekend, not just in the world of NASCAR, but in all major forms of motorsports. But if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. And while you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. But at that, this has been the NASCAR K&N Pro Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.